Okay, so this episode, we're going to be talking about cold brew coffee. Really cool. If you don't know anything about it, check it out. If you're a coffee lover, you'll dig it. I've probably had a little too much of it right now, but that's all right.
And we're also going to be talking to Michael Schlichte. Not in this episode, but we're going to be talking about the episode.
Talking about the time we talked to Michael Schlichte and recorded it for you guys.
That might sound boring, but it's actually pretty intense. So stick tuned, and we'll get right into that.
Right there at the end, we're going to talk about it. Mind-blowing stuff. You need to know about it. It's good stuff. Whoa!
Okay, so guys, we've already jumped right into it, but what we're using today is actually the Hario cold brew method. Oh man, this is pathetic. I don't even have the stuff. I'm gonna go grab that. I'll be right back. Alright, so what I got here is the Hario cold brew method. It's really simple. And the reason I like this is because the cold brew method is going in your fridge. Okay. And a few of the cold brew methods, like the toddy, is about the toddy's like this wide. I mean, maybe that's an exaggeration, but not really. It's big. Have you seen it?
No.
It's a wide guy. This guy here is pretty skinny. About the size of a mug.
I'm going to take up your whole fridge and be obnoxious.
Exactly. So you just kind of slit. You can put it in your door, whatever. This part here is really simple design. Just put your coffee right in here. I ran to the kitchen, so I'm out of breath. Okay. Got it back. So you just put it in there. You fill it in with your grinds. You can experiment with how fine or not fine you want, coarse you want your coffee grounds. I did like a medium, about the same as you would for a drip thing. So that's what you'll normally get at the store too. Is about that medium grind for a drip. You put it in, you let it sit for about 18. This is actually 12 hours that we let our set.
And that's pretty quick, right? You usually want to do it longer than that?
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, it came out really good. So it's just kind of your preference at that point. So what we have here is just your regular brew. Like this is a good brew to drink straight out of the pot or whatever that is. It's not really a pot. It's like a cylinder.
It's a type of pot.
It's a long pot. We're going to call it the long pot.
The legal pot.
So out of the, what?
It's the legal pot.
The legal pot. Mm-hmm. You, oh, I get it now.
Sorry.
It's all good.
Didn't mean to bust your flow.
Yeah, it was funny.
Actually, I didn't. I succeeded. Go ahead.
Yeah, you can just drink this straight. It's really good.
Yeah.
But you can get a concentrate by grinding it up a little finer and letting it sit a little longer. So you can get like an espresso grind. Put it in there, leave it in. Probably if you're going to do an espresso grind, I would fill it up to about right here. Okay. But you can experiment and see, get different, get different flavors, different intensities. You get
concentrate at that point, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
You get.
So why would somebody want to do a cold brew?
What's
the benefit?
I don't know.
There is none.
Just kidding.
Something to do.
Here's why I first got into it.
Okay.
I went to coffee shops and they would give me coffee that would just be like I would get a cold drink, and they would give me the coffee that had just been sitting there.
Oh yeah, I've seen them. They pull the thing out. And
it's just like it's cold. It's cold now because it's been sitting all day. Or they put it in the fridge, which is a little bit better.
Right.
But they put in old coffee from earlier in the day. They put it in the fridge, and then they pull it out and they pour it over and blah blah blah. And it's just like that's just not really appealing to me. So I found out other people were doing cold brew methods, and that's where this whole idea of it. And that's why you would want to do an extract versus a regular.
So you can pour it over ice.
Yeah, you pour it over ice, and then you can pour a little more milk in it. You can get that extra strong flavor. It's kind of cool part about the cold method. Especially when you're doing like really sugary drinks or you're doing a lot of extra stuff in your coffee. If you don't have it strong enough, you're not going to taste it because you have a lot of different ingredients going into it to make it that really good mocha.
Yeah, I've totally made like lattes before and they end up weak.
Yeah, you can't taste the coffee.
Right.
So that's why you would want an extract. That's why people use espresso versus regular coffee.
Right.
So this is kind of like you're an espresso, but it definitely doesn't have the same flavor
it's like
as
a bulk
an
espresso, sort of.
Yeah, but it's not, and it doesn't have the same flavor as espresso.
Tastes more like regular coffee once you kind of get it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And even compared to other coffees, cold brew has a different tone to it.
Okay.
So some people really like it, some people hate it. So it's really kind of depends on your preference.
It's a little different.
It takes out a lot of the acidity. I would air quotes on the acidity, but
Okay.
That's what people say. Oh, it takes out the acidity and stuff. And I don't know. I think it can still have that. Let's get into acidity. We're gonna get into acidity right now because we just have to. We have to go there. People are always saying
this is coffee.
Yeah, we're nerding out on coffee right here.
Okay.
People are always like, oh, the acidity this, acidity that.
Okay.
Acidity in your coffee is actually what gives your coffee a volume. Okay, if you drink soda flat, that's what drinking coffee without acidity is.
That makes sense.
It's just not. It doesn't have that bright, beautiful flavor to it.
Right. Okay.
So now I understand that's just the word we use for describing a little less toned down coffee, but it's really, there's different types of burnt flavors that are coming through that aren't necessarily the part of the acidity that we don't like.
Okay.
So anyway,
wow,
that's my kind of like personal opinion. I think I share it with a few other people, but yeah, acidity is not your worst enemy, and so this kind of does tone it down. So you do kind of get that flat sometimes flavor, but for a nice drink with sugar and milk, man, it's really good. And this one actually came out really good too.
It did.
I think it's got a lot of.
It's a little lighter than other cold brew I've had.
Yeah.
It's a little less dense, coffee-wise, but it's good.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely not a concentrate.
Oh, yeah. Definitely not a concentrate.
Drink.
Okay, so I was talking about the toddy and a few other different cold brew methods.
Right.
Another way you can make cold brew is you can actually just take that espresso grind, dump it in a jar, leave that jar for however long, and then pour it over a filter. That's
one way. Is
that
legal? That sounds kind of like making moonshine or something. That sounds kind of illegal. No?
Not that I know.
Okay.
Might
it
be.
Doesn't have like a warning like, do not use...
I would check with your local laws.
Yeah. Maybe the FDA. We'll link to the FDA.gov site just to be sure in the description.
Yeah, I would definitely not do that if you're in a store. If you're serving this to people in a store, like if you're a coffee shop owner, maybe don't do that.
And don't do it if you live next to a police officer too. I think you might.
I feel like
he smells it, it's over. They're like calling those people that come in and clean out the meth houses and stuff. So the mason jar method. Use at your own risk. Cool. Well, cold brew's really cool. It's really interesting. It's an up and coming new kind of method, right? I mean, I've started hearing other people I know talk about, hey, I'm getting into this cold brew thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of.
Don't you have a friend that's doing?
Yeah, he does cold brew. He's not really commercial with it yet. But he wants to be, and his stuff is really good. He does the concentrate, and he bottles it.
Okay.
But he's not certified and stuff. It's just kind of for friends at this point. But his goal is to get it to that point.
Very cool.
Man, it's so good. It is so delicious.
Yeah.
It's amazing what you can do with cold brew. Like, you think cold coffee is going to be gross, but it's really not if you do it right.
Yeah, I think that the stuff that's left over in your pot can sometimes be, I don't know, hot coffee is made to be hot.
Right.
It's not made to be cold. And
right.
It loses some of its flavor. It goes...
That wasn't my phone this time. What is that?
Nothing. All right, guys. Sorry if we left you hanging there with something.
We forgot where we were at.
I have no idea. I have no clue where we left.
Probably drank too much coffee and we can't really keep track of what we're doing right
ADD.
now. So, hope you guys enjoyed this different layout and format. I'm trying something new. We also want to tell you guys about the upcoming podcast. It is going to be awesome. It's like Rich Dad, like all of Rich Dad's material put into a podcast. Not quite, but it's going to be really good.
And it's not just us quoting Rich Dad the whole time either.
Right.
We've had a few episodes where we do quote other people a lot. This is actually Michael Schlichte. Mm-hmm. He's got a ton of insight. He's been doing the realty thing for a really long time.
Yeah. But he's not that old.
And he's not.
It's amazing.
He's about a year or two older than you.
Yeah.
He's in his 30s.
But I guess I am kind of old, but so that would make him old.
Mm-hmm.
He looks younger than me. He's got cooler hair than me. That's for sure.
Yeah, he definitely has pretty cool hair. I remember the day he decided to grow out his hair.
Really?
I actually remember that day. It was pretty epic. He was just like, it just was long all of a sudden. I'm like, whoa, dude. You haven't cut your hair in a long time. You're going for it.
Nice.
So, anyway, cool guy.
Sharp guy.
Looks cool and is cool. So that's the great part about him.
He brings tons of value. I mean, if you've ever been interested in the idea of real estate investing or, realty at all, even owning your own home and thinking about it as an investment. A lot of people say your home's your biggest investment, but it's really not going to be a good investment unless you think about it and plan from the beginning when you buy it.
Mm-hmm.
If there's certain things you do up front, say a few key 2 or 3 things that you do up front, that home is going to be hugely beneficial to you financially over the years. And he really gets into some of that as well.
Yeah. And this is a 2-part series, by the way. We went really long because he had a lot of good stuff, and it was just like, our normal format's about 45 minutes, and normally we do our episodes every other week. So we're actually going to be doing this one this week, and the next one's going to come out next week. Yeah. So we're going to be doing back-to-back weeks here.
Bonus material.
And then it'll be followed up with another thing. So for 3 weeks, we're going to have episodes coming out. Stay tuned. It's really good stuff. But next week's episode, I'm even more excited about that because he does get back, not that this episode's any less, but he gets back into, we go more in depth with the whole idea of realty, which, so this is like the precursor. And then we also talk a little bit about millennials and how that is going to affect even the investment scene and a lot of different things.
Right. Yeah, he's really a forward-thinking guy. When you think real estate investor, you usually think an old guy, and it's like something people did, and they're rich now, and it's not really something you can do again. But this guy, really, our conversation shows that this is just, it's going to change a little bit, and it's going to be a new thing for a new generation, but it carries huge amounts of potential for some serious upside for people who are young now and looking to grow their wealth as they get older. Absolutely. So it's we get into that. We get into social media, its impact on real estate. We get into audience building. We get into audience building basically every single podcast is one way or another. But yeah, it all ties together.
It's really cool. So stay tuned for both these episodes. This first one, I think you're really gonna love. So go check it out. Absolutely. Especially if you're at all thinking about investing, renting, property management. We get into it all. It's really it's packed.
If you've never even thought about that stuff before, give it a listen. It might change your mind about the potential.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Dude, this is definitely the episode where, I'm afraid of this stuff because I don't understand it, or I've heard so many negative things. Listen to this episode because then you can maybe expand your borders a little bit. Be like, well, maybe not today, but definitely in the future because now I have a good spot to launch from. So, super. I mean,
check it out.
I mean, right there, that episode, man. Really good. Anyway, go check it out.
And drink some cold brew coffee.
Thanks for checking us out, guys. For more, check out our website. Like us, rate us, give us 5 stars on iTunes.
Oh, man, that'd be awesome.
And on YouTube.
Rate us on iTunes. Huge.
Can't give 5 stars on YouTube.
At least give us 3 stars on YouTube?
You can try. There's no rating system.
You can just write in the comments, star, 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 star.
Give us 5 stars
in a
that
comment.
Way.
That would be awesome.
Oh, man.
If you can make one out of ASCII somehow,
cry.
That'd be cool. I'm bad at ASCII art, but if somebody out there can do it and you leave us even one ASCII star in the comments, that would be super cool. We'll feature it in an upcoming video. Really cool.
I would cry. I would literally cry tears of joy if I saw that. I'm tearing up right now.
Tell you what, if somebody does that, I'll pour coffee on his head on a video.
Dang.